What do you reckon the rent is for just one coffee shop per year?
200,000.
35k.
What's the rent on this a year?
It's massive. I can't tell you, but it's...
If I get it right, will you tell me?
yeah.
Who do you think takes more out of it, the government or the business owner?
Definitely the government, I would say.
No, that's
stupid.
Yeah. Today I'm in London to ask the general public just how much they think it costs to run a business. And specifically, we're going to be looking at these guys. Do you know there's 10,000 branded coffee shops in the UK and Costa have the biggest market share? We're going to be going up to members of the public and asking them how much they think each coffee shop makes a year and see if they can guess the running costs as well. Would you start a business ever?
Yeah, I've got a little business myself.
Thinking about it.
Yes, I would like to have my own business. Used to run my own business in the UK.
Both my parents own their own business, so it would be nice to.
Yes. Wouldn't consider myself much of a businessman, but we'll see what happens.
Would you ever consider opening a coffee shop in the UK?
As a fan of coffee, I would have to say yes.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Well, considering there's so many coffee shops, I think I'd go into a different sort of business.
I mean, I'm a big coffee shop guy. I don't know if I'd ever own them though.
Not a coffee shop. Oh, I'd love to. I'd like to do a sandwich bar, actually.
Yeah, you have always said that.
You've also got your own business. Would you ever consider opening a coffee shop?
Yes, I have a Subway as well. Subway franchisee. Yes, I have. On that one as well, the price are increasing and everything. So still I can't make a money.
I'm standing in Liverpool Street right now. If I turn around 360, there's at least 6 or 7 places within a few steps that I can buy a cup of coffee from. And I think it's for the reason that everyone's buying so much coffee that aspiring entrepreneurs and business owners think, yeah, I could buy coffee for 30p and sell it for £3.50, £2.50 for a cappuccino. It's easy to make money. But what they don't realise is the government take a big slice of your revenue and it's actually quite difficult to turn it into profit. What do you reckon the rent is for just one coffee shop per year?
I know in centre of Brighton it's roughly like 1 to 3 grand a month, so I'd assume probably 3 to 5 grand.
Here in central London, 20k a month.
£100,000 of pounds. 200,000.
5,000 a month, so per year times 12, like 60,000.
Say roughly around 100k around
I was going to say it'd be the same as like what they make, but it's central London, so it'd be a lot more. So I'd say about
100k. More than 100k.
50 to 150k.
In central London, 60k.
I would have thought about 70 grand a year sort of rent.
Between 80 and 100k.
Honestly, I have no idea. 80 grand?
It's going to be a lot. Oh, I couldn't even guess. Probably 25. No, it's more than that, isn't it? 35k.
And this is quite a tiny shop.
Yeah.
What's the rent on this a year?
It's massive. I can't tell you, but it's...
Can I have a guess?
Yeah, you can guess.
If I get it right, will you tell me?
yeah.
£2,500 per week.
Right.
I'm right.
Yes.
Are you impressed that I'm right?
Yes, you are.
Like $100,000. I would say the same thing.
Oh, I'm just doing my currency conversion. I think you're on the money there. Roughly between 60 and 80,000 pounds per year per coffee shop in London, in my opinion. Coffee shops like this one, which is now quite nearer to us, have to not just pay rent, they also have to pay business rates. And as a rule of thumb, if you've got £100,000 worth of rent, you're going to be paying the local government about £50,000 in business rates. That's a big chunk of change, which I don't think many of the public realise. If the rent was £60,000 or £70,000 a year, what do you reckon the business rates would be per year?
Well, I'm thinking about the business rates we pay in the Midlands where we are. So I would imagine the business rates would be about 8-9 grand.
In my experience, business rates are about half of what your rent is in London. So if you've got £80,000 worth of rent, your rates are going to be around about £40,000.
This is why I don't work in London.
Yeah. If that shop was paying £60,000 a year in rent, what do you reckon they would pay in business rates a year?
30k. Could be more.
20-30%. UK maybe lower, maybe let's say 10-20%.
So you're £2,500 a week here, and so your business rates are £1,000 a week?
Something like that. Plus light bill, plus other expenses.
If you're watching this video and you're wondering where I'm getting all my facts and figures from, well, here's a couple of things. I pay a lot of business rates. I pay over £1 million a year in business rates. I employ over 1,000 people. So I've got some facts and figures from running my own companies, but I also researched. I went on Sage's website. They're the big software accountancy people. They've done some write-ups on what it costs to run a coffee shop, and also used good old trusted Google. How much do you think a coffee shop takes per day?
20 to 30k? 20k? Yeah, I think so.
15,000. 10, 15.
Depends what on the location, probably up to 12k.
In tens of thousands, yeah.
Tens of thousands of pounds per day.
I have absolutely no idea, man.
Over 10,000 a day or under 10,000 a day?
Okay, I'm gonna go with under. Especially if I were to run it, it would probably be a terrible coffee shop.
It actually depends on the area. About 4 to 5 grand.
What do you think would be the daily takings of that coffee shop today?
I'd say probably about 3 grand in London, considering.
For one day,
One day.
I don't know, 500 pounds. 8,000.
2,000.
$10,000.
Yeah, a couple thousand. Mm-hmm.
5 grand, we got 5 grand over here.
Yeah, around like 5 to 8, 5 to 8.
I'm saying at least 12 grand.
And there's a coffee shop over the road, big branded coffee shop. What do you reckon their takings are per day?
Guess. Week maybe between 2 to 5 grand.
The average for a coffee shop takings in the UK is around £1,000 to £1,500 a day. It is. A coffee shop in the UK takes about £390,000 a year if it's branded, like a Costa coffee shop. So that's around about £1,200 a day in takings. So you think tens of thousands, but in reality it's between £1,000 and £1,500 a day.
Oh, okay. I'm completely off then. Yeah.
If you're enjoying this video, make sure you hit subscribe. It's absolutely free to do. The average branded coffee shop here in the UK, your Costa, your Starbucks, are doing around about £390,000 of revenue per year. The independents are making around £100,000 to £150,000. I'll put some links in the video description of where I've got that data from. I want to know from you, are you shocked by that? Or do you think that's about right? Or do you think the research is wrong? Hit it in the comments below. And who do you think makes more money, the government or the business from each shop?
It depends how much tax the companies pay. Probably the business.
The business.
The business, more than the government?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I would like to think the business.
I would assume the government.
Yeah, I think you're on the money there.
Well, there we go. I got one question there.
Definitely the government, I would say. The government.
Yeah, these girls know their stuff. Yeah.
The business owner. I was gonna say the government.
The government, of course, take more.
Well, with those calculations, I'd say the government.
Yeah.
And who makes more out of your business, you or the government?
Always government, because they're taking the money from us. So, and VAT, everything. Before they do 5% VAT, now they're increasing as well back to 20%. So it's like, so end of the day, who suffer? The business.
Who makes more money out of the coffee shop? The coffee shop owner or the government?
The government.
The government. That's a unanimous. You guys have got it. Definitely the government.
Well, government, because you've got to pay for other things in the business, don't you? Like staff and things like that. So
Yeah, I got
So yeah, the government, in my opinion, makes about 65% of your revenue. So as a small business owner, you've got a couple of shops, you've got a Subway, you've got this one here. What do you reckon you're paid an hour for running your business? Like, what do you get out of it?
I'm not adding anything.
No, I bet you don't.
Yeah, because if I
So
get
why do you carry on? Why do you do it?
Because we just starting now, because after the COVID, because it's a hope. I just started business, I spent the money, I invested. I didn't get my money back yet. If I don't get it, but still I survive, this is the main thing for now. And after that, I believe that maybe everything is open, then we can make more money.
How much do you think the rent is per week to have a shop in Leicester Square about the size of Barrett's shop here? And you said
Around 10 to 15 grand a week.
10 to 15,000 pound a week just on rent. How can you make that stack up? You've got to sell a lot of coffees. Do you know, I've got a sort of a mixed verdict on what we've done today. On one hand, some of the public really had no idea about stuff, but they certainly had an idea that the government makes most of the money out of businesses.
Definitely the government, I would say. The government.
Yeah, these girls know their stuff. Yeah. But what they don't realise is actually it's really tough to be a business owner, and everyone thinks Costa, Cafe Nero and Starbucks are making loads of money. They're making loads of money on huge turnover, but when you look at it on a store-by-store basis, I don't actually think they're making as much money as everyone might think. You know, you might be making 10, 20, 30,000 profit per store. You need a lot of stores to turn that into a seriously profitable business. And that's why small business owners really struggle, because they just don't have the scalability that these big giants do have. It's not just rent that coffee shops have to pay. Coffee shops like this one that's quite near to us also have to pay business